So good morning to all of you. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we'll start today's class with just a quick look at the things that we need to see from the syllabus itself. For example, if I share you this, if you can see on the screen, economy-wise, in 2022, we had like 5 questions from for APSC economy. All right, only 5 questions. Then if we move to, for example, if we move to 2024, we see 17 questions. So it's a huge jump. Okay, it's a huge jump of question patterns. All right. Now, why is that? Now we can see, understand that there has been a demand for economy questions in APSC level, and we need to focus this subject as one of the core subjects now. Before, it was not very important for we could skip the topics, but from 2024 onwards we see a huge number of questions. All right, and we will try our best to complete major topics for APSC through these classes. All right. Okay. So tell me, before we start this class, how good are you in economy, one by one? How comfortable are you with this subject?
Sir, I'm not good. It's very confusing for me.
Okay, for Prince Rongchan, it's very confusing. Why is it confusing, Rongchan? In what topics? The
Sir,
numericals.
uh,
Yeah.
if I read some topic, then it feels like I can do it. Then when the question paper comes, it feels like this is correct or this is wrong. It makes me like forget the things. So it makes me very confused.
Okay. Well, with economy, the problem is it comes very conceptualized. Okay. In question papers, it comes very conceptualized. So if your concepts are not very clear, you will get confused. Okay. However, from APSC's perspective, we have seen direct questions as well as some conceptual questions so far in the last 3-4 years that we are seeing the pattern. At least few conceptualized questions come, and most of them are direct related to current affairs. Okay, so to do your economy, first thing you have to do is your economic survey. Okay, please go through economic survey of 2025-2026. All right, which we'll also discuss a little bit in the next classes, but I'm giving you a heads up. Please read economic survey for tomorrow's class. We'll completely do economic survey, union budget also. I have already given in the classroom, right, regarding economic budget, union budget of this year. All right. So go through economic survey 2025, which has been released in January, and then you will read union budget very, very specifically. Okay, for your APSC prelims as well. So most of the questions that we see in economy are mostly current affairs based. So you have a big probability of getting questions from economic survey as well as union budget. Then I have told you, I have given in current affairs classes also the 16th Finance Commission. So please go through that, all the clauses inside 16 Finance Commission, or who was the chairman and who is the recent chairman now. Okay, 15th and 16th Finance Commission, you will just do a comparative study, but focus mostly on your 16th Finance Commission. All right. So these three topics are already sorted: economic survey, union budget, as well as 16th Finance Commission. So please go through that for tomorrow's class. Okay, as a homework I'm giving you so that we don't lag in tomorrow's class. Then regarding current affairs also, you will do the 4 labor codes that I have given in the class in current affairs. Okay, the new labor codes okay, the new labor reforms that we have seen in the country. So go through that scheme properly, go through those things properly, particularly like all the 4 codes. Go through that, understand the differences. All right, that I have already given the notes for in the classroom. Okay, so 4 topics, it's already in our hand. Okay, in your copies, in your notebook, it's already there, 4 topics, right? Now, the other things that you will focus is the basics of your economy. Okay, what are the basics? So we'll start today with a few of the basic questions. Let me share the screen to you. I hope you can see this. Can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll just reduce this. All right. So first of all, what is economics? What is the difference between economy and economics? Can anyone tell me? What is the difference between economy and economics? Economics is right in front of your screen. What is economy then?
There is the real life practical approach.
You say it's the practical approach. Okay. So economics then, what is economics? Just give me some discussion on it. So economics.
It's like a theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a theory.
It's like a theory. Economics is a social science, okay? It is a social science actually. It is a social science that studies the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services in a country. Now, who gave this idea? Initially, it was Adam Smith, who is also known as father of modern economics. He published a book, Wealth of Nations. So sometimes this book is also asked in your prelims level, APSC level. So please keep that in your mind. So he understood that economics is basically in a society when we study the production, the distribution of the products, as well as the consumption, how it affects, okay, how it affects a society. So that he defined as the concept called economics. Now this economic word comes from Greek called Oikonomikos. Oikos meaning home and nomos means management. All right, means home management. Okay, so economics is actually a social science. All right, it is a social science. Okay, it is a social science. Now there are types of economics. There are 2 types of economics. Number 1 is micro, number 2 is macro. Okay, microeconomics deals with basic level. Okay, that is basic level, how different prices of goods and services impact, okay, a small market or your household, for example. Okay, or your household. So every day you're buying something from the market, every day you're consuming something also from the market. Okay, so how does it affect your life? That is microeconomics. Macroeconomics deals with the country's economics, okay? Country's economy. It studies employment, GDP, inflation, government policies, poverty, balance of payments, etc., and their effects on the country. Okay, so macro is the broader field of economics. All right, so macroeconomics studies employment, GDP, inflation, government policies, and all those things as a whole for a nation. Okay, for a nation. So this is very important for our prelims, macroeconomics. Okay, microeconomics, it's at individual level. All right, macroeconomics, it's at the larger societal level or a country level. Okay, fine so far. These are your basics. There are branches of economics. Okay, branches of economics, or how economics are being used in different countries. For example, there is a concept called capitalist economy or market economy. Okay, it was from the time of Adam Smith, who wrote this book in 1776. Okay, so capitalism or capitalist economy is an economic system, okay, based on private or corporate ownership, okay, of goods and services. So most of the time in capitalist economic system, we will see a private or a corporate groups, okay, controlling the production and the distribution of goods and services. So capitalists favor a system of laissez-faire. Okay, this is a French word which means the government does not interfere in the economy. So keep this word in mind because this was asked once. Laissez-faire. Okay, so it's a French word which means the government does not interfere in the economy. It is driven by few market forces, that is demand, supply, and the price of it. Okay, demand, supply, and price. For example, we have the economy of US, which is based on this principle, meaning private and corporate ownerships are there in the business, in the market, okay, and government just acts as a watchman, nothing but as a watchman. All right. Then you have socialist economy or state economy, which was proposed by your German philosopher called Karl Marx. Okay, now in this economic system, the means of production are socially owned. What do you mean by socially owned?
They're owned by the people.
Owned by the people. So who gives the right to the people? Owned by the people means what? Socially owned, yes, you're right, owned by the people. But who does the decision making for the people?
The government.
The government does it. Okay, so means of production socially owned, used to meet human needs instead of to create profits. Okay, so difference between capitalism and socialism is that capitalism always looks for profit most of the time. All right, and in socialist economy or socialism, it is just to meet the needs of the human. For example, we had in our, this system was there in former USSR, then currently it is in China and Cuba. Okay, China and Cuba. But however, Chinese economy is a mix now. We directly don't say it's directly socialism. Yes, production is controlled by China's government. However, we are seeing the rise of a little bit of mix of capitalist flavor inside Chinese market as well. All right. Now, this type of economy also is known as a centralized economy or non-market economy. Why is it called a non-market economy? Can anyone tell me why is it called a non-market economy? Yeah. Why is it a non-market economy?
They're regulated by the government.
It is regulated by the government, you say. But what does it mean, non-market economy?
Closed economy.
Closed economy? Are you saying closed economy? But China is exporting to the world. How is it a closed economy? Why is it a non-market economy? Mohan, you want to try?
So investment is less.
Investment is less, you say. But looking at
From
China's,
outsider companies.
looking at China's development, can you say investment is less? Rest of you, why is it a non-economy, a non-market economy, or non-market?
So because of sanctions also.
Sanctions, you say. Tell
Are
me,
controlled by government.
do you remember the forces of market in capitalism? What are the forces? I just discussed few minutes back. What are the forces that determine a capitalist economy? There was demand, there was supply, and there was price. A capitalist economy will always look or will always be influenced by these forces: demand, supply, and price. Demand, supply, and price. Huh? You're saying something? Demand, supply, and price are the factors of influence in a capitalist economy. However, in socialism, these forces do not influence. Okay, these forces do not influence because socialism is just to meet the human needs, not for profit. That is why it is a non-market economy. Okay, the market forces, that is demand, supply, and price, does not influence socialism economy or socialist economy. Okay, that is why it is non-market. Understanding? Any questions? Prince, Rongchan?
বুজা নাই ভালকে মই
বুজা নাই? Okay, let me share you the screen again. You can see this, right? What did I say in capitalist economy? It is driven by market forces. What are the market forces? Demand, supply, and price. So these market forces, these three things will always influence capitalist economy. That is why it is called a market economy. Okay, capitalist is also called a market economy. All right. However, in socialist economy, it is known as non-market economy because these market forces do not influence. Why? Why in socialist economy it do not influence? Because the state controls the production, where the system, socialism is a system where the idea is to meet the human needs instead of creating profits, right? Instead of creating profits, the idea is to meet the human needs. That is why it is a non-market economy or state economy. Understanding? Understanding?
yes sir
Yes, sir.
yes sir
Now it's clear. So socialism favors cooperation. Okay, socialism does what? It favors cooperation. Cooperation between whom? Between the people, between the citizens of the people, of the country. And capitalism favors competition. Okay, so capitalism favors competition always. So that's why in US, for example, let's take the example of fast food. In US, you have so many fast food companies, right? You have McDonald's, you have KFC, you have Domino's. All these are from where? USA. Okay, what is their goal? To sell their food. Okay, who can sell the most? That is their goal. For what? To earn profit out of it. All right, to earn profit out of it. So capitalism always favors competition, whereas socialism will always look for cooperation among the people. Okay, among the people, so that the resources are equally or mostly equally divided to the citizens of the country. Fine? Fine. The next type of economy is your mixed economy. Next type of economy is your mixed economy. This was given by a British author called John Keynes. Okay, British writer and philosopher called John Keynes. He gave this idea that apart from capitalist economy, why can't we have a combination of public sector as well as private sector? Okay, why can't we have? So he found out that okay, it is possible. It is possible that a combination of public, that is the government, and combination of private can also work in terms of bringing a system into the economy. All right, and hence this, in this case, the governments are the decision makers. Okay, and individuals make decisions for the private sector. For example, what we have in India and UK. Okay, so in India we have this public-private partnership. So government works with the private individuals, all right, or corporation to bring out a new economic system called the mixed economic system. Fine. So what is the difference between the three of them? What is the difference between the three of them?
So one is profit making,
Which one is
and
profit?
another one is so the capitalist one. Capitalist one is profit making, and another one is for human needs for the society. And
Yeah.
another one is the mixed, where both private and governments are there.
Okay. So these are the three types of economy that we see in our world. Okay. In this world, we see these three types of economy. All right. Regarding question patterns, don't worry about this because these are hardly asked anymore. Okay. Fine. So we'll move to the next section of the economy class. That is your sectors of economy. Okay, sectors of economy. So there are few sectors in an economy. Number one is your primary sector. Primary sector includes all the industries that are engaged in extraction of natural resources or production of raw materials. For example, farming in India. Okay, example of farming. Then you have extraction of oil and gas, mining, forestry and fishing. All these are part of primary sector of an economy. Okay. Then you have the secondary sector where we use the raw materials to produce some goods. Okay. We use the raw materials to produce some goods. Okay. So all manufacturing, processing and construction activities come under this sector. For example, can we call making of jam a secondary sector?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can we call what do you call it? Can we say this from rice we make rice flour? Which sector does it fall? Rice flour.
Secondary.
Secondary. Okay. So anything that is being used as raw materials and being produced into something different or something new or a finished good, okay, that falls under secondary sector. For example, metalworking, automobile, textile and production and shipbuilding all falls under secondary sector. So please mark these examples. These examples are sometimes asked. Okay. Examples are sometimes asked, so it can get a little confusing when you mark this example and then you don't know. All right. So these examples, please go through that. Okay. You can mark. You can get the match the following type of questions also. Then the third sector is the tertiary sector, which is called as the service sector. Okay. Service sector. For example, your banking. Okay, your banking. Then you go to Tawang, Nagaland, Wayanad, Meghalaya. These tourism related activities, retail, transportation are your tertiary sector. So those activities that are related to providing services. Okay, to provide servicing. What about call centers?
Yes, sir.
Call centers?
So tertiary.
Tertiary. All right. Fine. These are tertiary sector. The fourth sector is your quaternary sector, which is composed of intellectual and knowledge-based activities. Intellectual and knowledge-based activities. For example, you have research, okay, you have consulting, financial planning, and education. So, Mr. Hebol Doley teaching this class is what sector? Huh?
So
Me teaching you?
quaternary.
Yeah. Okay, quaternary. Okay. And finally, we have this quinary sector. This is the highest levels of decision makings in a country. For example, when government makes policies, when executives execute those policies, then media and universities, etc., are part of quinary sector. So please mark the examples from this topic. Okay, they are sometimes asked for match the following. All right. So you have to remember the examples. You have to know what does it do also. So you can see from primary sector, anything that is engaged in production of raw materials from farm, from sugarcane plantation, we get sugarcane. That is primary sector. From sugarcane, we get sugarcane juice and bottled inside a bottle. The juice is bottled and then it is sold. That is secondary. The shop that is providing that sugarcane juice, okay, the shop that is providing that bottled sugarcane juice, that retail shop, is tertiary sector. All right, the ones who are doing researches on how to make sugarcane into biofuel or something like that, that is quaternary sector. And based on this research, if the government makes a policy, for example, a scheme for sugarcane planters and farmers, that is called quinary sector. So from one thing, one item, you can have all the sectors of an economy. Understanding? Fine. Any questions?
No, sir.
I'll take it as no then. Then let's come to economic planning in India. Okay, economic planning in India. All right. Now in India, after we got independence, our various governments tried various models of economic development or economic planning for the country. All right. So the first one is known as Harrod Domar strategy. Please mark this. These are important topics. Okay. Harrod Domar strategy. So on this strategy, the first 5-year plan between 1951 to 1956 was based. Okay, was based. According to this model, the model says the economic growth rate is dependent on the level of savings and capital output ratio. Okay, the economic growth rate is dependent on the level of savings and capital output. So what is it based on? This Harrod Domar strategy. The key word here is Prince Rongchan. This is based on?
Sir, this is based on quinary.
No. I'm not asking what type of sector anymore. I'm asking Harrod Domar strategy is based on what things? Prince Mehdi?
Sir,
Arlongbi?
Sir, it's savings and capital.
Savings and capital output.
Capital.
Okay. Now, if you have confusion on what is a strategy, strategy means what? Prince Rongchan, strategy. What do you understand by the word strategy?
Sir, if we have to accomplish something, then we need to make a plan so that we can work on it. That calls strategy, planning something out.
Yes, strategy is something to devise. You devise a plan to succeed in something. So this Harrod Domar strategy says that our economic growth will be based on how much our people save and how much capital, okay, how much capital is being used, all right, for the development. Okay, fine. So these are the two items that you have to remember in Harrod Domar strategy. So based on this strategy, we get our first 5-year plan in 1951 to 56. All right, that was Harrod Domar. Savings and capital. Just remember savings and capital keywords. Then you had the second strategy called the Nehru Mahalanobis strategy. Okay, this strategy focused on investment in heavy industry so that India becomes an industrialized country. okay, so that these industries can push for rapid economic development. So Nehru Mahalanobis strategy was basically government focusing on investment in heavy industry. Then the third strategy that we see in our country is the Gandhian strategy. It was given by Acharya Sriman Narayan Agarwal, okay, in his Gandhian plan in 1944 itself. So what is the objective of this strategy? Is to raise the material as well as cultural level of masses, okay, so to provide a basic standard of life. It emphasized on scientific development of agriculture and the growth of cottage and village industries. So what is the difference between Nehru Mahalanobis and Gandhian strategy, Vidisha?
Sir, Nehru Mahalanobis strategy focus on investment and heavy industries, and in Gandhian strategy, provide a basic standard of life, emphasize more on scientific development on agriculture.
And
And
cottage industries, okay, and cottage and village industries. So the difference was in the level of industry. So Nehru Mahalanobis focused on heavy industries, Gandhian focused on cottage and village industries. What is a cottage and village industries, Vaishali? What do you understand by cottage and village industries?
Cottage and village industries are uh, those small business that are owned by a small group of individuals or a family.
Okay. We have discussed this cottage industry in our class also. So cottage industry means anything that begins from a house, okay? Household activity. For example, you make pickles, you want to sell it, like you from your house you can do that, okay? Fine. So village industries related to anything that is coming out from the village. For example, your uh, weaving of clothes, your traditional wares. Where are they coming from? From your villages, from your households. So those are cottage and village industries. Okay. So the difference between Nehru Mahalanobis and Gandhian is very, very simple. Remember, it was based, Nehru Mahalanobis was based on heavy industry. Gandhian was based on cottage and village industries. Then the fourth strategy that we had was LPG strategy, very important for your topic of economy. Okay, LPG does not mean liquid what do you call it? Petroleum gas. Okay, liquefied petroleum gas. It does not mean, it means liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Okay, so sometimes there was, I think few like it is not asked anymore, but long time back it was asked. LPG stands for what? LPG strategy. What does LPG stands in this? So liquefied petroleum gas, liberation, privatization, and globalization. Okay, that means liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Now this was introduced by the then finance minister of our country, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who also became our prime minister later on, and it was under Narasimha Rao government. Okay, so the objective of this LPG strategy was allowing foreign direct investment, okay, and export promotion policy, okay, allowing foreign direct investment and export from our country to boost economic growth. All right. So Prince Medhi, can you tell me the first strategy, Homer strategy, Harrod and Domar strategy? What was it based on? What was the objective?
Sir,
Yeah.
which one?
Harrod and Domar. Harrod
Yes, sir.
and Domar.
It is sir based on savings and capital.
Savings and capital output. Okay, good. Then I'll ask Muan to talk about Gandhian.
Sir, in Gandia, it provides basic standard of life and development of cottage and village industries and development of agriculture.
Scientific development of agriculture. Okay, so LPG focus on foreign direct investment and export of our country. So after LPG strategy came in, India saw significant growth in our economic perspective, right? Until now, we are following this LPG strategy, all right? So sometimes people might say, what did Manmohan Singh do in our country? I think he did a lot for our country through this strategy itself, all right? So these are some strategies that India has been using, okay? Fine, economic planning for our country. These are the strategies that has been in use, okay? Now, to implement all these strategies, initially after the independence, we had the planning commission, okay? To implement the strategies, who will implement? Someone has to implement. So planning commission of India was initiated or started. It was an extra constitutional and non-statutory body established in March 1950. Extra constitutional means what? Can anyone tell me what is extra constitutional?
Not in constitution.
Not in constitution. Fine. What is non-statutory body?
Not by law.
Neither by law. Okay. Okay, so there was no law made to establish Planning Commission of India. Okay, so it was established in 1950 by a simple resolution by the government of India. Okay, it was the central institution. Okay, it was the central institution responsible for India's 5-year plans, formulating India's 5-year plans and guiding the socio-economic development for over 6 decades, for over 60 years. This was the institution that looked after India's economic planning. Okay, fine, fine. However, you have to know that this idea of planning commission began in 1938 itself. Okay, it began in 1938 itself by Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, he was the first one to say, like, we need a committee or we need a commission that can look after the planning, economic planning of our country. So when Niti Aayog came, sab Nehru ka hi galti tha, right? All those ideas come from here. But he was the first one to get this idea that we need a committee to look after our economy. Okay. Then in 1944 there was a Bombay plan. Okay, Bombay plan, where group of Indian industrialists, they proposed that, okay, we should have a 15-year economic plan. Okay, and the state should help in industrial development. That's what they say. Okay, so let's focus our growth for 15 years. This industrialists said that in Bombay, and ask the state to invest or to help them in this development. Okay, after independence, we needed systematic allocation of resources. We needed rapid industrialization so that we can catch up with the world. And because of all these ideas already there, in 1950, March 1950, by a cabinet resolution, we constituted the Planning Commission of India. Okay, the Planning Commission of India happened. Okay, what was their job? To assess resources in the country, to formulate plans and evaluate the progress. So key words here is the origin of Planning Commission, remember, began from 1938, evolution. Then in 1944, Bombay plan happened. And from there on, 1950, after independence, we have the Planning Commission. Okay, what was the structure like? The structure follows like this. The chairman of the Planning Commission will be the Prime Minister. Okay, will be the Prime Minister. There was a office of Deputy Chairman also, who will be full-time political appointee. Okay, this was always offered to a senior cabinet minister. Okay, then members were there, full-time members with expertise in various fields like economics, industry, science and social sciences. Then ex officio members were there, like key union ministers like finance, defense and home ministers were often ex officio members. All right, and secretary. he or she was the responsible person for the administrative machinery or execution of all the committee's plans and your documents. All right, fine. What was the function of planning commission? Resource allocation or resource assessment, how to make the materials or all the resources in the country, how do we give it or use it. Then formulation of plans. Formulation of plans means the strategies, what type of strategies shall we use and how can we use the resources better. Okay, so that led to creation of 5-year plans in this country because of this planning commission. And prioritization was also their goal, on which stages the plan should be carried out and how much resources should be needed in every stage, that was there. Then implementation oversight, to see if the states or the countries or the offices are using the plan or not, that to see that. And finally evaluation, to check whether we have completely or fully been successful in implementing some strategies or not. Those were some goals. However, remember this, their role was advisory in nature. Okay, they were advisory. Okay, they were advisory, meaning only if the union cabinet approve their point, then only they would listen. Okay, fine. So role of planning commission was advisory. So some achievements of planning commission: it gave the foundation of industrial base. Okay, like heavy industries like steel, power, machinery. Okay, that came up. Green revolution was an example of your planning commission. Okay, we had social sector development, focus on expanding education like IITs and all those we saw. Okay, poverty alleviation programs. Infrastructure development happened in roads, railways, irrigation and power. Economic stability, they provided a framework for macroeconomic stability and resource allocation. All right, and institutional building, that built this planning commission was the foundation of building a culture of data collection, analysis and evidence-based policy making. Okay, fine. There are, however, certain criticisms and limitations of planning commission. First of all, it was very centralized. Okay, so sometimes it was being accused of being only cabinet ministers institution, and sometimes also known as parallel government. It was running as parallel government. All right, it did not look into state specific needs. That was one criticism. All right, then there was no constitutional or law backing it. How did this authority get the power? There was this question. Okay, it is not constitutional, they said. They don't have any law backing it. They don't have any constitutional provision backing it. So it is against democratic principles, they said. Then inefficiency and bureaucracy became a big problem in this planning commission. Sometimes this bureaucratic body like civil servants became slow in decision making and unresponsive. Okay, to new economic realities, to everyday changing of economies, they were unresponsive. Then there was allocation of resources biasness, influenced by political influence. Okay, only favoring certain states or sectors. That was a problem. And it failed to adapt to the post 1991 economic liberalization era, where market forces played a huge role. So it failed to adapt to that. Okay, and their policy was always one size fits all approach. Okay, one size fits all, meaning if I give you shoe number 9 and everyone had to wear, will it fit everyone? It will not. So they thought everything will fit, but it did not. Okay, it overlooked the regional disparities and diversity of our challenges in this country. Okay, so that is why it was changed later on. And advisory only role. Okay, it was officially advisory. Okay, or officially advisory. However, they were given some allocations, making it executive also. So sometimes it led to friction between ministries and states. Okay, ministries and states fought over this conflicting role of planning commission. So slowly and slowly we needed a new institution that was more dynamic, that was more federal and market oriented, and that led to the establishment of Niti Aayog in 2015. Okay, in 2015, that is called National Institution for Transforming India. Okay, this was in place from then on. Okay, so now Niti Aayog is a think tank. Okay, it's a think tank. It is not an institution that will only decide, but it's a think tank where discussions will take place. Okay, discussion regarding the economic policies of these countries will take place. Okay, so tell me, all of you, one by one, what was the role of planning commission? I'll start with Prince Medin. Give me 1 point.
Sir, it's like a
Huh? It's like a,
sir,
what was the role of
so,
planning
so,
commission?
sir, for resource assessment,
For
it's
resource
a
assessment.
plan formulation.
Just one, yeah.
I'm
Plan
sorry.
formulation. Fine. Okay. Then Prince Rongchan, give me one function or role of planning commission.
Sir, reviewing progress.
Huh?
Reviewing progress.
What progress?
Reviewing progress.
Okay. Evaluation. All right. Then Rushika, tell me what was, give me one achievement of the planning commission. Huh?
Bombay plane,
I can't hear you.
Bombay plane, Bombay plane,
That was not a achievement of planning commission. Bombay plan was the idea how to start the planning commission. Vidisha, give me one achievement of planning commission.
Sir, 5-year plan.
Formulation of 5-year plan. Okay. Vaishali, give me another one.
Sir, development in the infrastructure fields.
In infrastructure field development. Okay. How long do you want to try another achievement?
Sir, green revolution.
Green revolution was also part of 5-year planning commission. Mohan, any other that you know?
Sir, advisory role.
It was no achievement. Achievement is not advisory role.
Okay, so infrastructure development.
That has already been said by Vaishali. Try something else.
Well, social sector or green revolution.
Green revolution also mentioned by Harlongbi.
Sir, then blue revolution.
No, where blue revolution? What? Achievement of planning commission. One of the major one was industrial development, heavy industries development. Okay, steel, all those industries came up during the planning commission era. Okay, so questions can be asked like achievements regarding achievements of planning commission also. Okay, fine. Now let's discuss the 5-year plans of your planning commission. All the 5-year plans. Please mark it. I know I'll give you the document, so that's why don't keep relying on it always. I want you to be attentive in the class also, so that the revision is done at once. Okay. So 5-year plans. It came by Planning Commission of India. From 1951 to 2017, we had this 5-year plans. So till 2017, we had this 5-year plans. Okay, what was the objective of this 5-year plans? So that we achieve an increase in national income and per capita income. So these are concepts that we will do later. Okay, so to grow our economy, to elevate our poverty, garibi hatao, reduce poverty, to make our country self-reliant, okay, so that we depend less on foreign aid and imports, okay, and modernize our technology for development of our economy, to reduce inequalities in income and wealth, that is social justice and equity, and to provide employment opportunities for our growing workforce. Okay, so these are some objectives of the Planning Commission 5-year plans. Now, first 5-year plan started in 1951, 1956. It was based on agriculture. Okay, it was based on agriculture. It was based on irrigation. Okay, so the first 5-year plans from 1951 to 56, we had based our idea on agriculture and irrigation, and because of that, we had Bhakra Nangal Dam, Hirakud Dam, and these two dams were very, very important during this period of time. Okay, only criticism was there was less industrial growth in this 5-year. Okay, so first 5-year, 51 to 56, 5 years. Okay, there we saw the focus was on agriculture and irrigation. So mark this, it's very important. First 5-year plans was based on agriculture. Okay, then comes second plan, 56 to 61, which followed the Mahalanobis model, where heavy industries were focused. Okay, that is why we see steel plants in Bhilai, Durgapur, Raulkela. All these are steel zones of our country. So heavy industries were there, rapid industrialization push was there. However, the criticism was there was foreign exchange crisis in the country and so much of inflation pressure on the country. Okay, because of that. Then third plan comes in 61 to 66. It focused on self-reliance and food grains. Okay, self-reliance and food grains. So we see the formation of Food Corporation of India. Okay, we see the formation of Food Corporation of India here. So please mark all this. Okay, please mark all this. Food Corporation of India. All right, that laid the foundation of Green Revolution. Okay, we see the foundation of Green Revolution laid here in third plan. So they can match the following type of questions from this topic. Okay, however, third year plan failed because of Indo-China War in 1962 and also Indo-Pak War in 1965, and because of these wars also after that we had a severe drought, so it failed by 66. Then instead of fourth, there was a talk that instead of 5-year plan we should have annual plans. Instead we should have annual plans. So that was the next era called the plan holiday. Okay, from 66 to 69 it was planned annually, where devaluation of rupee took place. What is devaluation? What is devaluation?
So maybe testing the money.
Devaluation is what? To lower the value. Okay, to lower the value of our currency against a foreign currency. Okay, to lower the value. All right. So devaluation of rupee happened, and criticism
So
was.
why do we?
Huh?
So it happened, or it just the government did?
Government did it.
So why?
Sometimes we devalue rupee or currency to boost our exports. Okay, why? because if our local goods are cheaper for foreign buyers, the the country can increase their global exports. Okay, and we do that, we devalue rupee to reduce our trade deficits, you know, so that our citizens don't buy expensive foreign goods, instead buys local products. Okay, that is why devaluation takes place. Devaluation means what? Lowering the currency, right? Lowering the currency. So if one US dollar is right now at 98, 99 or 100 rupees, you will not buy so many American goods, right? Logically, you'll try to save every penny, every rupee. Okay, so that's why, to manage the debts of the government, sometimes they devalue rupee. Okay, okay. So there was a lot of economic instability during this period. That is why they had to devalue the rupee. And however, only one good thing was Green Revolution was implemented during these plans. Okay, let's come to the fourth plan. Fourth plan was in from 69 to 74, where growth with stability and self-reliance started happening. And important one, gut kill formula for state assistance. Okay, gut kill formula, please look up. Okay, in your free time after you attend this class, you go through a revision. What was gut kill formula? It's in your polity as well, for helping the states. So under this fourth plan, we see the nationalization of all our banks. Okay, all our banks, 14 major banks were nationalized, like so many banks we have. We also had Indo-Pak War in 1971 and Pokhran 1 nuclear test. So mark this information, because you will definitely might get you might get match the following. You might be asked regarding the plans. Okay. However, during this period in 1973, there was an oil shock. Anyone knows what happened in this oil shock? Can anyone tell me? What happened in this oil shock? Can anyone tell me? Anyone knows? Oil shock of 1973.
Sir, oil crisis. There is a war. There was a war between Israel and
Yeah.
Iran, I guess.
So all these Arabian countries that were exporting oil, they said, we are banning all those countries that supported Israel in this war. Okay, in 1970s there was a war with Israel and Arabian countries. Okay, so all the Arabian exporting countries said, we will have total ban on selling of oil to those countries that supported war in Israel. And because of that, oil prices went up. Okay, oil prices went up. So because of oil prices going up in 73, we had inflation and very slow growth during this period. All right. Then the fifth plan comes in. Fifth plan from 74 to 79. It was poverty eradication plan. Garibi Hatao. Who was the prime minister? Can anyone tell me during this period?
So Indira Gandhi.
Indira Gandhi was there. Her slogan was also that, Garibi Hatao. Okay. So minimum needs program was launched during this period. Okay. However, this plan was terminated early when Janta Party comes to government. All right. Fine. Fine. Then again from 78 to 70, again annual plans were going on. Janta Party shifted to focus to make the plans annual instead of 5 years. All right. Again, during this period, instability was there politically, so it was short-lived. Then the sixth plan comes in 1980 to 85, which was economic liberalization and poverty alleviation. NABARD was established during this period. Anyone knows what is NABARD? NABARD?
So National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development.
Yes, that is there in Dispur. This office is there, regional office, NABARD office is there. Okay, so NABARD was established to help the rural areas. All right, but the criticism is there was a lot of rise in fiscal deficit. Anyone knows what is the meaning of fiscal deficit?
Sir, more expenses than revenue.
Yeah, fiscal is whose?
Government, sir.
Government. Okay, fine. That is understandable. Then we get the 7th plan, 1985 to 1990. Okay, food, work, and productivity was the theme. Food, work, and productivity. Technology upgradation was needed. Technological upgradation was needed, and employment generation was their focus. And liberalization measures were slowly initiated during this period. However, the criticism is balance of payment crisis looming. What is balance of payment? Anyone understand? We'll discuss all these terms again and again in the next consecutive classes. So balance of payments is, if I have to tell you, like, what India took as loans and had to pay back. So that was balance of payment in short for now. Okay. So again, we had political instability after that. That is why again annual plans comes in place. Okay. So remember, whenever there was political instability, we did not have the 5-year plans. Instead, we moved to annual plans. Okay. So during this political instability only, Manmohan Singh comes up with LPG reforms. Okay. And because of this, we see in the next 8th plan, 1992-1997, human development was focused. So we had liberalization, privatization, and globalization of our economy. And because of that, we see high growth suddenly from 1992 to 1997. So during that period, you might have observed so many people bought Maruti car, so many people bought television also during this period. Okay, those who earned well, those who were doing well in life. However, only criticism of post LPG reform was that it was regionally imbalanced, meaning some states grew very rapidly and some other states grew very slowly. Okay, fine. The 9th plan comes in 1997 to 2002. It was growth with social justice and equality. However, we saw a war during this period, Kargil war. Okay, and Asia was seeing a crisis, financial crisis. That is why the growth targets were not met by this plan. Okay, all over Asia there was a financial crisis. You can look up from an international history, Asian financial crisis. What happened during this period? Anyone knows? Can anyone have an idea? It happened in 1997. Okay, mostly between East and Southeast Asia, where a lot of countries in these areas face a lot of financial problems. All right. Why, can anyone know this incident? Why? Do you know the reason?
No idea.
So there was massive foreign investments in these countries. Okay, massive foreign investment that led to the rise of unstable local currency. So it began in Thailand actually. The crisis began in Thailand and then it caught up to other parts of Asia. So lot of currencies had to be devalued. Okay, lot of currencies had to be devalued. That is why you see, like, for example, in Indonesia, why still the Indonesia rupiah, it is written in like lakhs, the numbers, right? Big numbers. Like Vietnamese dong, it is written like 1 lakh dong for, like, buying one piece of bread, right? So that happened because of this Asian financial crisis, where the currency had no value. Okay, the value completely went off because of massive investments by foreign countries or foreign investments in their countries, and it failed out there. Okay, then we had the 10th plan from 2002 to 2007, which was trying to bring in faster and more inclusive growth. So we see government scheme like Manrega. Okay, Manrega. What is Manrega? What is Manrega? I gave you in the class also. Manrega. Huh?
So Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Generation something.
Yeah, Manrega. So it has been changed now. You know that, right?
Yes, sir. V.
Yeah.
Ramji Bill or
Vijiram, whatever. So you will do Manrega this time also, okay? From economic perspective also, I'm telling you, and you'll compare the new scheme with Manrega. All right. So Manrega was there in this 10th plan. 11th plan, in 11th plan from 2007 to 2012, more inclusive growth. So, but this plan also had a lot of problems because there was a global problem called global financial crisis of 2008. What happened in this? Anyone knows? Global financial crisis of 2008. What happened?
Sir, stock
US
market low.
recession.
Stock market crashed in 2000 in US. Okay, that led to high inflation in other parts of the world. Okay, even in India. Okay, but during this period, we also introduced Right to Education Act, which is not related to economy, but sometimes they will ask match the following. 11 planned Right to Education Act. So please keep this in mind. Okay, so this time 11 planned. And finally, the 12th plan comes into being 2012 to 2017, all right, focused on inclusive and sustainable growth. Okay, so before there was no sustainable growth, but in the last one, we see sustainable growth, the word sustainable growth. Okay, key achievement, it was the last 5-year plan focused on health, education, and skill development and infrastructure of the country. However, this ended prematurely because the Planning Commission was dissolved during this period. Okay, Planning Commission was dissolved. Okay, so and from there on, from 2017 onwards, we have our Niti Ayog, okay, which was established in 2015. All right, from 12-year plan we have Niti Ayog, and this 12th plan ended abruptly. Okay, it was the last 5-year plan. Niti Ayog, however, now formulates 15-year vision document, a 7-year strategy document, and a 3-year action agenda. Okay, so they will make a big document for 15 years. So in this 15 years, we will do this, we will do this. Niti Ayog does that. And 7-year, for the next 7 years, they will prepare the strategy. All right, for the next 7 years from now on till 2000, let's just say 33, they already have planned the strategy, what to do to achieve that 15-year vision. And every 3 years, they will see action. Okay, every 3 years, they will have plannings that can be achieved. Okay, so those are the new system that we are seeing in our economic planning. All right, fine. I hope the Planning Commission is fine from now on. Please do not be worried about the questions. If you get Planning Commission, most of the time it is asked on which plan brought what achievement, what is the criticism also sometimes, but not very important. But most of the time, Planning Commission's 5-year plans will be asked in match the following type of questions, all right, or maybe in the statement type of question, like first 5-year plan brought what. Okay, you have to remember that. Okay, what was first 5-year plan?
Sir, agriculture.
Agriculture. So what did we achieve under that first 5-year plan? What was the achievement? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, Bhakra Nangal Dam,
Well,
Hirakund Dam.
Yeah. So 2 dams we saw. Okay, Bhakra Nangal and Hirakud Dam. All right. Then the 12th 5-year plan, what was it about?
Sustainable growth.
Sustainable growth. Okay. What about 8th 5-year plan?
Sir, Human Development.
LPG reform.
8th was
Human Development Post LPG reform.
Yeah, LPG, post LPG, and human development. All right. So those are the type of questions that you can get. When did Kargil war happen? In which 5-year plan?
9, sir.
Ninth plan, you had the Kargil war. So those type of questions you'll be asked, okay, from your for your prelims perspective. All right. So this was a little bit of introduction of economy planning in the country, economic planning in the country. Now all these characteristics and all I'm not discussing, you'll go through this. I'll send the documents to you whenever possible. This is an important topic, GDP. Okay. What is GDP? What is GDP?
The total value of goods and services produced in a country.
GDP means total monetary or market value of all the finished goods and services produced within a country. Okay, within a country in a specified time period. I hope you can see the screen, right? Can everyone
Yes,
see?
sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now think of it in this way. Think of the country's economy as a cake, as a birthday cake. Okay. So the GDP is measuring the total size of this cake. Okay. Total size of this cake. Okay. So whatever a country produces in a country in a specific time, and the value of all these products or services is referred to as GDP. All right, is referred to as GDP. Fine. Fine. So there are three key words that you have to know: the market value, that is the monetary value of the goods and services that are produced. Okay. Then final goods and services also are counted. That is the value of final products. Okay, that is the final products. And it should be produced by both residents and non-residents. Who are the non-residents? Residents we know.
NRI,
NRI. What does NRI stand for?
non-resident Indian.
Are they Indian?
Yes, sir.
No.
They are not Indian.
They are.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please go through citizenship, Harlombi, citizenship of parliament, acts of the constitution or regarding citizenship. Please, that is an important keyword. NRI, okay, are they Indian or not? They are Indian because in the name
They're
itself
Indian.
it is there. Non-resident Indian, all right? So whatever they produce, wherever they are, whatever they produce, okay? For example, one of my uncle, he is working in Dubai. So he is an Indian, non-resident Indian, but he's bringing the money back, no, from whatever he earns. So that is also counted when we calculate GDP. And it is measured annually or quarterly. GDP can be measured annually as well as quarterly, okay? So how do we calculate GDP? There are three methods. Three methods to calculate GDP, okay? And all the three methods theoretically should yield the same result also. So the first method is expenditure. That is from the demand side, okay? Expenditure method. So GDP is equal to C stands for consumption, I stands for investment, G for government spending, and this X minus M in brackets. X stands for exports, M stands for imports. Okay, so all these things are measured. All right, so please remember this formula. Okay, sometimes instead of XM you can also get NX. Okay, NX, that means export minus import directly, the value of it. Okay, so don't get confused. So GDP stands for what? It is how much consumption households have done, all the expenditure by households, That is example like food, clothing, rent, medical services. So whatever you have spent, that is counted. How much investment, okay, how much investment has been taken place in the country regarding residential construction or anything, okay, in the country. How much government has spent for building public infrastructure or salaries, etc. That is also counted. And how much we have sold to other countries minus how much we have purchased from other countries. Okay, so those net exports are also counted. So that is from expenditure side. All expenses only, right? All expenses. Can anyone tell me which is not expense here? In this formula, which one of the following is not an expense?
Sir, export.
Export is not an expense here. However, we are taking net export. That is, we are minusing it, right, from whatever we have purchased. So this type of tricky question can also be asked. Out of all this following, which one is not an expense? Okay, so export is the value of goods and services that we sold to other countries. So this is one method, expenditure method. So remember this formula, keep it in your mind. Okay, keep it in your mind. Then there is income side or income method. Okay, income method means we sum up all the incomes that we have earned. Okay, that we have earned in this country by factors of production. For example, GDP under this means wages plus rent plus interest plus profits plus indirect taxes minus subsidies plus depreciation. All these things are counted and we get the income method. Out of this, which one of the following is not an income? Huh?
Subsidies.
Which one of the following
Depreciation.
Depreciation
Subsidies.
also is not an income, by the way. And subsidies. Subsidies are also not income. Okay, so please keep this marked. Okay, this type of questions are asked. And finally, the third method is value added method. What is value added method? So this sums the value that has been added at every stage of production of a product, okay, in the economy. All right. For example, when you make jam out of, let's just say, mango, when you make jam out of mango, what happens? The value goes up, right? Mango 1 kilo will be, let's just say, 50 rupees or 80 rupees. Let's just say 100 rupees, 1 kilo. After you make that, after you collect that mango from the market, you make it jam. You put it in a bottle, you put labels, you put stickers and all those things. And you sell that jam, 1 kilo of mango, you get 100 grams of, 100 or 200 grams of jam. You sell it at 300 rupees per bottle. So you're adding value to that product, right? You're adding value. So those measures, okay, when we calculate those sum, we get GDP in terms of value added method in the production level. So sum of gross value added at basic prices plus product taxes minus product subsidies. Okay, product subsidies. So this are giving you your value added method of GDP. Okay, what is value added? The difference between the value of output and the value of intermediate consumption. So how much ever you have bought a mango for 100 rupees, 1 kilo, okay, you minus that with your labor, your everything, whatever you have done, you have added, and then you fix a price. Okay, so it measures the contribution of each sector from agriculture to industry to service to the economy. Okay, okay, what are product taxes here mentioned? Taxes levied per unit of product. So you have GST for everything now. Example, for agricultural products, for mango, it is like 5%, let's just say 5%. But if you sell it in later on in a retail shop, the GST can be calculated at 12% also. Okay, so those value additions are taken, and subsidies are those that are given for a product to cut down their prices, to help farmers. All right, subsidies are given. Fine, these are the three methods of GDP. First formula, GDP is equal to C plus I plus G plus net exports, that is expenditure method. Second, from income side, GDP is equal to wages plus rent plus interest plus profit plus indirect taxes minus subsidies plus depreciation. All right, and finally value addition stands sum of gross value added at basic prices plus product taxes minus product subsidies. Anything that you want to ask so far on this?
Sir,
Anything?
when we calculate GDP, which method we used generally?
Well, generally expenditure method is used, okay, generally, but that does not mean like, we do not use the other methods, okay. There is an office called National Statistic Office, or organization in this country, so they calculate GDP based on whatever requirement is needed, but most of the time expenditure method is used. All right, expenditure method
But
is
sir, result will be different in every method. Like in the expenditure method, the result will be different in the
yes,
consumption.
they have to produce the same. Similarly, theoretically, they have to produce the same result. For example, expenditure method is done to check on how much demand is there in the country, okay, how much demand is there in the country. Income side method is done to see how much income our country has earned, okay, and value addition method, we see how much production has been taken place in the country. So all these methods have different purpose, okay, all these methods have different purpose. They do different calculations, yes, but GDP's main goal is to give an idea of what is going on in the economy of this country, right? So to understand what is going on in the economy of our country, that is how we do the calculation. If we want to see the demand of the country, we'll do the expenditure method. If we want to see the income of the country, we'll do the income method. And if we want to see the production of this country, then we will do the value added method. Okay, fine. But the goal of GDP is same.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, our GDP is calculated in market price. Is everyone's like every country's GDP is calculated in market price?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Some countries do not regard market price. They also see like that topic. I'm coming there, by the way. Not necessarily always in market prices. Sometimes they set a base year. Okay, they set a year from where they get the prices from. Okay, so that we'll discuss in the next topic. Okay, I'm getting there. So not necessarily, but not all countries also calculate their GDP. Do you know this? GDP just gives an idea of what is the economy going about in a country, but not necessarily GDP is being used. Bhutan does not use GDP to calculate their country's growth or anything. Do you know this? Bhutan does not
Yes, sir.
focus. Yeah, Bhutan does not focus on GDP too much. Okay, so but GDP is a number. It gives us a number that to see, okay, or based on this number we are growing or not from the past years. Okay, all right, fine. So types of GDP. Types of GDP. See, Prince Rongchan, your confusion will be clear here. There are types of this GDP in the real world. One is called nominal GDP. Nominal GDP. GDP measured using current market prices without adjusting for inflation. Okay, without adjusting for inflation using current market prices, that is called nominal GDP. it reflects the actual monetary value of a production in a given year. So it is useful for comparing current economic size. Okay, many countries follow nominal GDP. Okay, many countries follow nominal GDP. All right, understanding what is nominal GDP?
Yes, sir. Current market price.
Current market price, remember. Okay, what is the significance? It gives actual monetary value of production in a given year. Then the second type is real GDP. Real GDP is GDP calculated using a base year price, which is adjusted for inflation. Okay, real GDP uses a base year prices, which is adjusted for inflation. It provides a more accurate picture of economic growth by isolating changes. Okay, this is essential for comparing economic performance over time. Okay, so if we want to see how was our economy in 2012, we will use real GDP. Okay, if we want to see our economic growth with China at the present time, we will see nominal GDP. All right, fine, you're understanding the differences?
Yes, sir.
Any question on this too?
Sir, in the GDP chart, like I recently saw that India is in the fifth or sixth position right now. It was where it was above Japan. Now Japan took the third position.
Yeah.
Is like India like placing the market price in the GDP what list, sir? But if India was last year like third third position in the GDP list, and Japan was below that, then how is that India is not so developed and Japan is so developed?
No, that is not concept of GDP. That is the concept of human development. Okay. GDP wise, GDP says what? It's a number, right? It's a number of how much you are exporting, how much you're earning, or, how much you're investing. Of course, India will have a huge number. Look at our population. Okay. India will always have a high GDP. Okay, in terms of population and in terms of the investments that have been made. That does not show the true picture. That's what I'm saying. Like GDP has some flaws. GDP gives you a number, which might, which might be like, oh, India is growing at such a big pace or anything. That is not related with development. Okay, GDP is not related with development. GDP is just a number. Okay, it just gives you a number. All right. It will not talk about human development in this country. It will not talk about the literacy development of this country. It will not talk about the happiness of the people, right? It will only just give you a number to you. That's what GDP is. Okay. So we'll come to that.
Okay.
So types of GDP, nominal and real GDP. We know the difference now. Okay. Nominal and GDP. GDP deflator we'll do later on. Okay. What is the use of this GDP? So it is an indicator. Okay. GDP is what? GDP is an indicator. For whom? For policymakers and businesses and analysts. Okay. A rising real GDP I'm saying. What is real GDP?
So based on current years.
Based on
Base year.
a certain base year. Okay. Real GDP. Okay. So a real rising GDP signifies economic expansion and increased production. So what is it showing? Real GDP. When we have a big number, it is just showing that our money is being used for production and expansion. Okay. It is not telling people are happy or developed. No. It is just showing our production has increased from previous year. Okay. Policy formulation, it helps. Government uses GDP data to formulate fiscal and monetary policies. Okay. And to manage inflation or to identify recession. Anyone knows what is recession?
Sir, it's a downward growth of
Yeah, downward growth. Okay, inflation
economy.
means rising power, rising costs. Recession means like slowing down of the growth of economy. It is also used for international comparison, so we can see the size of different countries and performance between different countries. But again, it is not talking about development of people. It is just showing GDP that is rising is showing that their economic growth is growing and a lot of production is happening in that country. Okay, okay, all right. It gives business decisions. GDP allows for businessmen, they see GDP trends to forecast demand, plan investments, and assess market potential. See, when GDP is growing, the businesses see that, okay, this country is doing well in their economy right now. That does not mean the developed country's economy is doing poorly. There's nothing to develop only in developed countries. You're understanding the logic? You're understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Japan might be fifth or sixth in their whatever GDP list, but that does not mean like they're not growing. It's that India has so much more to develop. That's what it is showing. Okay, that's what it is showing in the GDP number. So we can boast about GDP, but GDP does not talk about development of the people directly. It is just showing a number that okay, a lot of things can be done in India. That's what the businesses see. And that's why businesses are coming to India. Okay, their GDP is growing. That means they're allowing, the government is allowing a lot of policies, a lot of schemes to develop this country. So a lot of businesses. Okay. Japan may what do they need metro to be developed? Do they need roads to be developed? It's already developed. What is there to develop there? Only thing is they're doing is now maintenance of the system. Okay, so GDP of some countries, developed countries might be poor than us, but that does not mean they're less developed than us. Okay, so this is a false hope that people are seeing. And standard of living proxy. Proxy means it is imperfect. You cannot directly see standard of living of people, but a notion is there that higher GDP per capita often relates with higher average standard of living. Okay, so it's not necessary that like higher GDP means everyone's per capita income is good. All right, it is just showing that it is been increasing. It is increasing, so it is not a valid point of view to understand standard of living of a person. It is just giving us a number. Okay, like I said, GDP is only a number. So like I said, limitations are there. Limitations are there. What is the limitation? GDP excludes non-market transactions. Non-market transactions like unpaid work, for example, your household chores, volunteering work, black market activities, all these are subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is what? The one you do for yourself. Farming, those are not counted. It ignores income distribution. A high GDP might mask means hide severe income inequality. So GDP is not talking about income equality. GDP is not talking about wealth distribution. Okay, quality of life cannot be measured by GDP because factors like education, health, environmental quality, leisure time, or social cohesion is not counted in GDP, right? Then negative externalities, for example, economic activities that boost GDP, example, industrial production, might cause pollution or resource depletion, which are not subtracted. They are not counted. The problems caused by industrialization, they are not counted. Only the expenditure, the investment in the industries that are only counted. Okay, and crime prevention, healthcare for preventable diseases, all those also add to GDPs, but they do not look into this. So like I said, GDP is a number. It does not account for sustainability. Okay, it does not account for sustainability. So rapid growth in a country comes at a cost of future generations' resources. So if India is growing at 4th, 5th large GDP, we are compromising on certain things. So having a higher GDP does not mean like, you're a strong economic power. You're compromising on many things for future generations. As for example, a Thailand or Vietnam, which is like at 25th, 26th, or 16th, 17th, whatever number you can find, they have better living of life, okay, better standard of living than India. Sri Lanka, which comes around 18 to 20th in GDP ranking, has better life quality than Indians, right? So higher GDP does not mean you have a better life. Higher GDP just means the economic growth is faster in a country. Okay? Fine? Fine?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So with GDP, remember one thing, Mark, I have not mentioned here in this GDP. GDP's base year has been changed recently. Okay? Before it was 2011, 2012 base year. Now it is 2022, 2023 base year GDP. Okay? To calculate GDP, that base year has been changed. Please mark that in your notebook. Base year of GDP has been changed to 2000, 2022, 2023. Okay, so that can be a question. So GDP can be a question this time. Okay, particularly the base year. From 2011, 2012, they have changed to 2022 to 2023. All right, base year of GDP calculation. Okay, particularly real GDP. Okay, fine. Understanding? Now, key concepts that you have to remember with GDP. This is my final topic for today. Key concepts, related concepts is gross national product, GNP. Gross national product, okay? Gross national product. Now, we know GDP has problems in understanding the growth of the country, right? GDP is just a number I've been telling you. It does not show any other things. So due to some limitations, other economic aggregates or indicators are used. So GDP is an indicator. Similarly, gross national product is also an indicator of economic growth in a country. Okay, so what does gross national product does? It calculates the total value of goods and services produced by only country's residents, regardless of their location. Only country's residents. Okay, GDP calculates everything, whatever expenditure a foreigner made in the country of India, that also is counted. But gross national product is calculated on the basis of total value of goods and services produced by only country's residents. Okay, residents means citizens. All right, so GNP is equal to GDP plus net factor income from abroad. Okay, what does this net factor income means? Remittances, interest on foreign loans, profits from foreign investments. Okay, so these are counted. Remittances means those people who are working in other countries and bring money back home. Those are remittances. All right, India is one of the largest remittances, foreign remittances country in the world, because we have so many Indians working in so many countries. All right, so that is why. So GNP is equal. Now listen to me very carefully in this. GNP is equal to GDP, okay, when net factor income from abroad is calculated. Okay, fine. You're understanding that what I'm trying to say? GNP is equal to GDP when net factor income from abroad is in positive. What will happen if net factor income is negative? Tell me. If this net factor income from abroad is negative, what will happen? Huh?
NNP,
Huh?
NNP.
Then don't go NNP and all, and don't focus on any other words. Just focus here. If GNP is always equal to GDP when net factor income is positive, what will happen if it is negative?
Then, sir, GDP will be higher.
You're saying
Will be higher than GNP.
GDP will be higher or GNP will be higher?
So GNP.
Yes, sir, GNP.
Huh? My
GNP
question
will
to
be
you
high.
is, right now you're seeing on the screen, right? You're seeing this on the screen. GNP is equal. Okay? GNP is equal to GDP when net factor income is always positive. Now what will happen when net factor income from abroad is minus or negative?
So GNP will be higher.
GNP will be
Higher.
higher, you're saying. Okay, think it through. Just think it through. Use your logical brain and use your mathematical brain. Okay, use your mathematical brain. What will happen?
GNP will go down.
GNP will go down. Think.
So I think GDP will be constant. GNP will be down.
Huh?
So I think GDP will be constant and GNP will come down.
Okay. Now, one thing you have to know, net factor, okay, this NFIA, all right, what is it saying? Net factor income from abroad. Okay, I'll just write it here for you. NFIA is equal to, okay, income earned by residents abroad, okay, minus income earned by foreigners working within the domestic country. Okay, fine, fine. You can see this, right?
Yes, sir.
This is net factor income formula, all right? So what is it saying? Now my question was, when will be your GNP higher? Okay, when will be your GNP higher? What will happen if income earned by residents abroad, let's just say 100 rupees, okay, and income earned by foreigners working in India is 90 rupees. What will happen then?
So can you again repeat?
If income earned by residents abroad, meaning Indian residents, okay, if income earned by residents abroad is 100 rupees and income earned by foreigners in India is 90 rupees, what is it, the number?
Positive, sir.
Positive, right? Positive,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That means what will happen? It will be plus 10. Is it not? In the above formula,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
GNP is equal to GDP plus 10, right? Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So when GDP plus 10 will happen, GNP will be higher. Okay? Are you getting this point or not? I'll ask,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
I'll ask constantly. Now, let's just say income earned by foreigners is, let's just say, at, I'll put a green mark. Income earned by foreigners in a country is at 100 rupees, and income earned by residents abroad, Indian residents, it's at, let's just say, 90 rupees. So what will happen? Opposite will happen.
Yes, sir.
So what is the number?
Negative.
Minus 10.
Minus 10. Now put this minus 10 on this calculation. GNP is equal to GDP minus 10. So what will happen to GNP?
Higher.
GNP will be higher.
Lower, sir. Lower, sir.
GNP will go
Come
down.
down.
GDP.
It will come down, right?
Yes, sir.
It will come down. Now what will happen? Okay, you're understanding. Okay, you have to be very clear on this, because this is the question I'm going to ask again. Okay. So we know from two cases, okay, from here I'm writing, if income earned by residents is higher, right, then what happens? Then GNP also is higher, right? In the first case. Come on, talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second case, if income earned by foreigners in India, in the country, is higher, then GNP is
Less.
less, right? Now, if income of both residents abroad and foreigners in the country is equal, what will happen?
Constant.
Huh?
It will stay constant.
If net factor income, that is income earned by residents, is like 100 rupees, and also income earned by foreigners is 100 rupees, what will happen to net factor income? What is the value?
Zero, sir.
GNP
Zero.
equal to GDP.
So it will have, this net factor will become what? This will become,
Zero.
this will
Zero.
become 0, right? That means what? GNP is equal to GDP, right? GNP is equal to GDP. Understanding? Fine. I'm revising with you again. I'll revise with you again. If income earned by residents is higher than residents is higher, what is the case? Okay. If income earned by residents is higher, what will happen to this GDP? So let's just say net income earned by residents is 100 rupees, income earned by foreigners is 90 rupees. So what is it? It will be GDP plus 10.
10.
So if income earned by residents is higher, so GNP is also
High.
Higher, meaning GNP is greater than GDP, right? Fine.
Sir.
Then let's reverse it. If income earned by residents is less than income earned by foreigners in a country, it will be GDP minus 10.
10.
So what will happen in the second scenario?
It will be
GNP
less.
is lesser than
Lesser. GDP.
fine. Fine,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? Now you understand the relation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone understood? I want to clarify. I will not proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I will not proceed. Okay? Fine. Now solve this question. Solve this. Where is the question? Question number 89 of 2022. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Is GNP always higher than GDP?
No.
No, sir.
No, right? So 1 is always wrong. So you'll minus wherever 1 is there. Automatically 2 is there. Right? Right? Next statement.
Yes.
If GDP is greater than GNP, that means if GDP is greater than GNP, I just discussed, what is it? Is it true statement or wrong statement? Huh?
Sir, wrong.
Sir, wrong.
So follow it up. GNP is always higher than GDP. Is it a true statement?
Wrong.
Huh?
Wrong.
Wrong statement. Okay, so we minus 1. Only one option. Fine. What about the second statement? If GDP is greater than GNP, then net factor income earned abroad, NFIA, is negative. Let's come back here.
Correct.
If income earned by foreigners in a country is higher, then GNP is less. That means GDP is greater than GNP. Is it correct or wrong? Now you tell me. You're still getting confused.
Sir, wrong statement.
Why wrong statement?
Because, sir, the question is mentioning about negative, but in this statement, the foreigner's income is higher, so it might be positive, sir.
How will it be positive? Okay, this is NIF. Look at the screen. All right. NIF is what? Income earned by residents first. Okay, who are working abroad. I'll not write working abroad first. Minus income earned by foreigners working in a country. Okay, now the statement is saying what will happen to GDP, whether GDP is greater than GNP. Let's see. GNP is equal to income earned by residents is 90. Okay, income earned by GDP. GNP is equal to GDP plus NIF. No? NIF is income earned by residents. Let's just assume 90 minus 100. Okay, so what will be in the next step? GDP minus 10. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
GNP will be less, GDP will be high.
So what is the question saying? Read the question again now. If GDP is greater than GNP, then the net factor income earned abroad is negative. How to get negative net factor abroad? When your foreigners working in the country earns more than your Indian citizens working abroad, that is a negative. Okay, in that case GDP is greater than GNP. This is the statement. Are you sure you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir, but I think during the test also I have to write it to clear myself.
No, you just remember net factor income abroad, okay? Income resident, always it will be income by residents working in abroad minus income earned by foreigners in a country. Okay? Always. So how to get negative? How will you get negative income earned? When? How will it be negative? Let's just see from here. Income earned by residents, let's just say 90.
Earn more than residents.
So it's minus 10. Fine. So when net factor income earned from abroad is negative, GDP becomes bigger than GNP. Like I said, GNP is the total value of goods and services produced by a country's residents. So if the residents earn less, your GNP will be automatically negative. Okay? Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Or still doubt in this?
Clear, sir.
Fine. So always
Yes, sir.
remember, do this calculation, always remember GNP is equal to GDP plus net factor income. And in the side, you always mention NFI, net factor income abroad, is always income by residents minus income by foreigners in a country. Residents where? In abroad. Okay, those chacha, mummy, brother, sister, whoever you have working in US, minus foreigners like McDonald's, KFC working in India. Okay, so if income earned by foreigners in a country is higher than the residents working abroad, GDP is higher than gross national product, because gross national product always talks about countries' residents, wherever they are. Okay, if you saw the definition, wherever they are the residents, non-residents, all those are counted. Okay, so if our Indian people earn less than foreigners working in India, the gross national product is less than the GDP, because GDP calculates everything in a country. Okay, remember this, GDP calculates everything in our country. The investments by foreigners also is counted. Okay, exports minus imports are there. So all those things are there. So please be careful of this concept. This was a conceptual question. So like I said, Indian economy focuses on current affairs, on economic survey, union budget, and as well as your conceptual questions like this. Okay, fine. Please revise this topic once again. Okay, and then we'll talk about, if you don't understand, you can always send me a message and we can discuss in the next class also. All right, so for today we will stop here. I will send the document in the Telegram group. All right, and the rest of you except for one, for Assam base we are starting at 3:30 after your lunch. All right.
স্যার যোৱাবাৰ ক্লাছৰটো নোটছটো দিয়া নাই নেকি স্যাৰ আপুনি হেৰি ভিডিঅ'টো দিছিল
টেলিগ্ৰামত আছে
স্যাৰ ভিডিঅ'টোহে পোৱা যেন পালো নোটছটো দেখি নাপালো
Ask-
ডকুমেণ্ট
ask everyone
অঁ
was it there in Telegram or not, the rest of you? Did you get or not?
Sir, ময়ো পোৱা নাই।
You didn't get? Who got from Telegram? None of you got from the Telegram channel the notes?
Sir, মানে গ্ৰুপটোতহে জইন হৈছো, হোৱাৰ লিংকটো পাইছো।
Uh-huh.
মানে স্যাৰ লিংকটো ক্লিক কৰোতে গ্ৰুপটোতহে জইন হৈছো স্যাৰ, মানে তাৰ নোটছ পোৱা নাই দেখোন।
I got the notes, sir.
পাইছে তো, you check in the files. If you don't get, I'll have to resend, but it's there in the files.
দেৰিকে জইন হোৱাৰ কাৰণে নাপালো নেকি স্যাৰ অকল আপোনাৰ ভিডিঅ'টোহে পাইছো মই
Okay. Okay. I'll send it again, but it's there in the group. Okay. So files I have made it like permanently available there. Okay. So try to find it out. All right. I'll send it again. The notes, today's and yesterday's notes also. Day before. Take care. Rest of you, Assam base in 3:30 revision.
Same link, sir.
থেংক ইউ স্যাৰ
Same link.
Same link.
স্যাৰ আপুনি আছাম বেছৰ কাৰণে বেলেগ এটা লিংক গ্ৰুপত দিছিল যে সেইটো জইন কৰিম।
It is same way.
ওকে স্যাৰ।
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
থেংক ইউ স্যাৰ।
থেংক ইউ স্যাৰ
Thank you, sir.